Guys, guess who's back on live on her main page? It's been so many months since I've been able to do this. Instagram finally let me out of IG Live jail. I'm excited. Hey guys. Hey Jocelyn. Hey Alexa. You guys are coming in fast as usual. Yeah, it's really, really interesting being back on live on my main page because it's been so long and I'm so used. Somebody said, thank God someone came back. It's been so long and I'm so used to having to put out a tweet telling people that I'm going live on my backup page. So it's good to see you guys from here, Blue Centric, my home. You might be wondering why I have this 1990s VHS filter. Hey, Tony. The reason why, look at all the welcome backs. It feels good to be back. The reason why I'm using a 1990s VHS filter is because if you look behind me, I'm in my childhood bedroom. Look at this old school. Do they even still make beds like this? Look at this old school 1990s wooden sleigh bed. I'm in Boston. Hey, Kate. I am heading back to LA tomorrow. I miss it. I miss home so much. Although, to be fair, Boston will always be my home because this is where I was raised. Hey, Aaron. Hey, everybody. Oh, my God. I can't believe how much I miss this. I'm partially on here to let you guys know that I'm out of Instagram jail. For those of you who didn't know, the reason why I have not gone live on my Blue Centric page in 2 or 3 months is because Instagram has been targeting progressive Black voices who create a ruckus for the people, and apparently somehow me and my sweet Buddhist self got put on that list. I don't know how, but they told me that I was going to be out of jail on Halloween, but I was really busy yesterday, so I couldn't come on here. You guys look shocked. Yeah, I wanted to come on to number one. I want to thank everybody who followed me over to the Blue Chalusma page and showed me love, even though I was, on the run. Number two, I also wanted to come on here and make an announcement for those of you who missed the post, because I know the algorithms can be a little bit funny, that the registration for the next On Thy Shift Emotional Intelligence Workshop is now open. In fact, I'm going to put this in here while you guys are piling in. It's ots24.eventbrite.com. I promise you this live is not about that, but I want to do that early because I always forget. ots24.eventbrite. Hold on. ots24.eventbrite.com. I'm going to post it and then I'm going to pin it so that I can talk about other things. Okay. So if you guys want to register for the workshop, please just go straight to that link and don't ask a million times in the comments. Someone said, I'm a new fan. I was wondering why you didn't do live. So happy to see you live. Yeah, I didn't do live because I was in jail, y'all. They got me. They put your girl in jail. Somebody like me being in Instagram jail is wild, considering 99% of my content is about emotional intelligence, pop culture, and just educating the community. So it just goes to show you that even if you're doing good work, you're probably going to be put in Instagram jail if you're a person of color. Now let's talk about the topic that's on my heart. Somebody says, do the class, y'all. I have done it twice, life-changing. Hey, Carmen. Y'all, when I tell you, I don't even get emotional on here because I just got on here. The people who attend this class, I think a lot of you are used to charlatans who are just coming on here doing classes on bullshit. Some of the people who take the class will tell you this is not a substitute for therapy. There's nothing like it. Emotional intelligence workshops are very different because even if you're someone who is very steeped in mindfulness and therapy talk, this is a very specific skill set that I don't think is really being taught anywhere else. In fact, some of my favorite, I've mentioned this a million times, some of my favorite attendees are people who work in the mental health field who didn't know that there was a whole subsect of self-mastery that they didn't even know existed. I didn't even know existed, to be honest, until I started working in it. So yeah, shout out to people who are in the chat who have taken the workshop, and thank you for giving the testimonials, because I'm so struggling with how to describe the magic that we do in class. You kind of just have to be there to understand it. Anyways, enough of that. The topic that I want to talk about tonight is a little thing called cuffing season. The reason why I want to talk about cuffing season is this morning I woke up and it felt like everybody had just decided all at once, let's talk about cuffing season. My entire feed this morning and this afternoon has been about cuffing season and spinning the block. Y'all keep posting videos of Nelly and Ashanti like, ooh, are you willing to spin the block for one of your exes and all this good stuff. And then I happened to be online when this comedian that I follow on here was having a live. And the live was all about relationships and dating and first dates and stuff like that. And it just seems to be a really big topic. And the joke has always been the minute it hits November 1st and Halloween is over, everybody immediately starts talking about Christmas. And the only day they don't talk about Christmas is Thanksgiving. And then they go right back to talking about Christmas. I'm starting to feel like the day after Halloween is also the day that you all start talking about cuffing season. And the concept of that season, for those of you who are not familiar with African American vernacular, cuffing season is the space of time between the beginning of the fall and the end of the winter, where you have to find somebody to cuff you up and keep you warm because nobody wants to be single when it's cold outside. Although if you live in different parts of the world, those dates don't really match up. Somebody said the PJs are coming too. Yes, cuffing season is also your opportunity to find somebody to pretend to be in a relationship with, so you guys can buy matching pajamas to wear in Christmas photos to put on the gram so you can make your friends jealous. And the thing that I've always found so interesting about cuffing season is how performative it is, right? Like, I don't think love has a specific season. Like, who says you can't be in love and cuff somebody up when it's hot outside, right? So the premise that when it's hot outside, you're going to be a hot butt and just be running the streets, and when it gets cold, you're going to pick somebody to be with you just because you don't want to be alone, that leaves something to be desired. But I have been thinking about the fact that the less options you have, the more you want to cuff up. Like, let's talk about it, right? I think the reason why cuffing season is linked to winter is in the winter time, you are less likely to go outside. There's less activities. It's a lot harder. You have to be a lot more intentional about fellowship. And because you have to be more intentional, you have less options. And because you have less options, you should find somebody. Like, think about that, guys. Like, why we conflate coldness with companionship and warmness and options and ease with singlehood. Who says you can't be in a relationship and still have an abundant life? Somebody just wrote, I don't want to participate in that. It almost makes you scared to connect with somebody during this time because of a hidden agenda. Yeah, I personally, all my relationships I've gotten into during the holiday season, but it hasn't been because of cuffing season. It's been because the holiday season is the time of year where you're taking inventory. It's the end of the year. You're wondering like, wow, what's missing from my life or what could enhance my life? It's also a time where there's a hyper focus on community and fellowship, and it can get really, really lonely. And you start to recognize that the busy work that was keeping you busy during the warmer seasons, you're suddenly stuck in the house, freezing your ass off during a blizzard, wishing you had somebody to sip cocoa with, right? And I just think because the holidays tend to make me really nostalgic and emotional, my heart tends to be more open during the holiday season. In fact, I think every single relationship I've ever gotten into happened around this time of year. Oh, snap. I better be careful who I make eye contact with. Somebody just wrote down, is this live going to YouTube? Sure, I can put it on YouTube. And so the thing that is interesting about this cuffing season is that, and this is something I've talked about before. So for those of you who are new to me, it's going to be your first time hearing this. For those of you who are tried and true, you know I always give this speech. I think I give this speech at least like twice or 3 times a year. There's a concept that I came up with back in, God, I'm about to show how old I am. Back in like 2010, 2011-ish, I came up with this concept that I call relationship math, or the relationship hierarchy. And the relationship hierarchy states that it's bullshit when people tell you that the best case scenario is being in a relationship and the worst case scenario is being alone. I believe, and this is something that if you hear it anywhere else, it's been stolen from me because I came up with this a long time ago. I believe very wholeheartedly that first place is being in a great relationship with someone who's healthy. You're healthy, they're healthy, and you're together. That's the best case scenario. The second best case scenario is being healthy by yourself. The third best case scenario is being unhealthy by yourself, because at least even though you're unhealthy, you're not making it somebody else's problem. And the worst case scenario, fourth place, is being in an unhealthy relationship. And the reason why for me, I had to use relationship math in that way, the reason why I had to have that nuance that healthy relationship with someone else is first, healthy relationship by yourself is second, and an unhealthy relationship with somebody else is last place, is because as somebody who's healthy by myself, right? Being healthy single is second place. The only improvement to me being healthy single is me being healthy in a healthy partnership. If I start dating somebody who makes me feel unhealthy or somebody who is unhealthy, I'm actually going down 2 places. I'm not going up, right? And so I think what makes me uncomfortable about cuffing season is a lot of people in second or third place, because third place is being a mess by yourself. At least you're not dragging somebody down with you, right? So if you're in third place, your life kind of sucks right now, according to you. But at least you're not making it somebody else's issue and you're not projecting your trauma onto somebody else. Second place where I'm at is you're healthy as shit. You just haven't found your person yet, right? The thing that makes me uncomfortable about cuffing season is those of us in third or even worse, second place are sometimes so pressed to look like we're in first place, we accidentally get dragged down to fourth place. Did y'all hear what I just said? I'm going to say it one more time because I know I have a Cuban tongue and I talk fast. If you are miserable alone, you are in third place. If you are happy alone, you are in second place. If you are miserable in a relationship, you are in last place. A lot of you in third or second place during this season of cuffing are going to be tempted to pretend you're in first place when you're actually being dragged to fourth. And I'm telling you, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it, guys. Right? If you are in third place and you are miserable on your own and you are coming from a place of lack and you have a lot of traumas and isms and things that you need to work through, use cuffing season to cuff yourself to some healing. Get cuffed to healing, get cuffed to a coach, get cuffed to a therapist. If you can't afford either, get cuffed to watching videos of those who inspire you. Get cuffed to fellowship, right? Because romantic relationships are not the only kind of love that matter. If you can't find a way to be healthy romantically, then work on being healthy in your friendships, because your friendships are teaching you who you are romantically, right? The reason why when I am dating men that I find myself at ease is because I have male friends who love on me platonically. And so the love of a man, even if it's not sexual, is not foreign to me. So when I meet a guy who's trying to run game, I'm not acting like he's the only man on earth, because I got 5 or 10 good dudes back home who are my homies, right? I'm not coming from a place of lack. I'm so abundantly surrounded by good masculine energy that just any old man won't do. So please, 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 guys, if you are in third place, then your job during cuffing season is not to get in your relationship. If you are miserable on your own, your job during cuffing season is to fall in love with yourself, right? That's your job. Shout out to Ben and Nakia and everybody else who's joining. A quick recap to reset the room for those. I see a bunch of you just joined at once. We're talking about the relationship hierarchy. If you've been in my lives before, you know about this. First place, healthy in a relationship. Second place, healthy alone. Third place, unhealthy and miserable by yourself. And fourth place is being in a fucked up relationship. So for those of you who are in third place, who are miserable alone, who are crying yourself to sleep at night, who are lonely as hell, who are tired of buying roses and other sex toys being advertised on social media, instead of being miserable and waiting for somebody to come save you, I need you to be grateful that you haven't met your person yet, because you don't even have the bandwidth to honor love. So many of my clients who come to me for readings and consultations are constantly saying, Blue, when am I going to find my perfect person? And 9 times out of 10, the response is, thank God you haven't found them yet, because the current you wouldn't know how to honor that love. We all dream about and ask for romantic love, but very few of you create space for it. I'm going to share a story that I might have shared before. When I was about 29, I know I don't look a day over 29 now. I'm just kidding. But when I was 29, there was somebody who worked in my neighborhood who had a big old crush on. I'm not going to share too many details because a lot of my day ones still follow me. You probably know who this is. I had a crush on somebody. And I was like, it's Monday, and I had just learned about manifesting and being empowered, and I had just started working on creating the curriculum, the All Night Shift curriculum, and so I was trying to use myself as a test subject, right? So I'm thinking to myself, well, I keep on hearing about manifestation. There's this cutie that I have a crush on. It's Monday. I'm going to see if I can create good energy and manifest them hitting me up by Friday. So every day I would say affirmations like, my baby's going to hit me up and this, that, and the other. And I was being I felt sexy. I felt pretty. I was in a good mood. I was like, yeah, I could just feel it. They're going to hit me up by Friday. Sure enough, I shit you not. A whole week of manifesting, on Friday afternoon when my phone rang and I saw my crush's phone number, I literally squealed. I was like, oh my God, I manifested this. I am a fucking witch. I manifest the person I have a crush on hitting me up. And the phone rings and I pick up. I'm like, hey, what's up? You know when you try to be sexy? Actually, I don't try to do sexy voice because my voice is so thick and raspy on its own. I'm scared that if I try to do a sexy voice, I'll just sound like I smoke too many cigarettes. But I was trying to sound cute. So I get on the phone like, what's up? And they're talking to me. They're like, yo, for some reason, you've been in my mind all week long. I'm like, yes. Oh my God, I manifested this. Yeah, you've been in my mind all week long. And some just told me to hit you up. Do you want to hang out today? Now pause. What did I just tell you? I told you on Monday, I told myself that I was going to manifest having my crush hit me up by Friday. On Friday, my wish came true. My crush not only hit me up, also said they've been thinking of me because I'm witchy. And they wanted to see me. Do you know what my response was, guys? I opened my mouth to say, of course I want to see you. I wished on this. And then I looked around my house and realized that entire week that I had been manifesting and wishing, I had forgotten to clean my fucking house. Pause. I spent the entire week manifesting and wishing for love. I spent the entire week wanting to connect with a very specific person. I put all my good juju into attracting them, but never once in that week did I stop to say, when this person comes over, where are they going to sit? I didn't clean my house. And they were only 10 minutes away. And so when the text said, hey, I'm down the street from you, can I drop by? Instead of being able to say, yes, of course you can. I've been waiting on this. I had to be like, nah, actually, I have to clean my house. How about tomorrow? And they were like, actually, I'm going out of town tomorrow. And we didn't see each other. You guys, the reason I'm sharing this story is, and mind you, I cried that night. I'm not even going to hold you. I would like to come on here and say that I was a goon and didn't give a shit. I fucking wept. Because what a rookie mistake it is to wish and wish and wish and bust your ass wanting something so bad and not do something as basic as making room for it when it does show up. Somebody said I would have been like, oh, meet me at X spot. No, because they were like, I'm coming over. So guys, I want you to recognize a lot of you are wishing on love, are wishing on companionship, are wishing on someone that you can wear matching pajamas with during cuffing season and flex on the gram for Christmas. But have you cleaned up your house? Where are they going to sit? Have you made space for them in your life? When they get there, are you ready to deal with it? A lot of you aren't, right? And so instead of wishing for things, first create space as if those things are destined to happen. A lot of you are wishing for a love that you currently don't have the capacity to honor or even ingest. Get cuffed to that, right? Somebody just said, nope. If you work 90 hours a week, you're always burnt out and you have obligations out of your eyes. Like you can barely sleep at night because you have so many obligations. Why are you praying on romantic love right now? When are you going to hang out with them? Are you creating space for the wish to actually come true, right? And for those of you who are not in third place, for those of you who are in second place, who have created space for romantic love to show up during this cuffing season that we're in, great. When it happens, you already know you deserve it. But please do not operate from a place of lack where you think any warm body will do. Somebody said, wow, I literally was bummed about this today. And it's like, this is God's response to my cry today. Wow. Yeah, a lot of you are crying about something that you haven't created space to appear. Sometimes the worst thing that can happen to you is your wish coming true before you become ready for it. A lot of times we complain about waiting, right? I've had so many people who have come to me and be like, Blue, I'm so patient. Where's my love? And I said, are you patient or are you waiting? There's a difference. Patience means that you have made peace with the divine timing of your life and you're doing all the things that you love to do and you have space for that thing to show up when it's ready. That is patience. But if you are tapping your feet and annoyed the whole goddamn time, that is not patience, that is waiting. Be honest, guys. For those of you who are in here waiting on love or who are hoping for love or who are manifesting love, are you being patient or are you waiting? Because waiting is very impatient, guys. When someone's waiting in line, they're not happy. They're not supple. They're not feeling juicy and good. They're tapping their feet. They're coughing loudly, passive aggressively. They're constantly cocking their head to the side to see if the line is moving or not. Somebody just said, I'm waiting. Thank you for being honest, love. Right? Are you patient or are you waiting? When someone's patient, they are in a space of abundance, like the thing that I want's going to come. Let me make some phone calls. Let me check my email. Let me call my mom real quick. Ooh, let me make my grocery list. They are going about their business even as they're in line. And then when the person calls the name, they're like, oh, it's my turn. Right? The spirit of patience and the spirit of waiting are not the same thing. Asking for something and being prepared to know what to do with it are not the same thing. And so, if you are in second or third, please be clear that the only improvement is first place. The only improvement is first place. Somebody said it, human intimate connection. It's human to desire this. It's human to desire connection. And I'm happy you mentioned that, love. Another thing about human connection, about how it's human to desire this. It's human to desire companionship. But I need you guys to know that being lonely and being emotionally available, not the same thing. A lot of you are lonely as fuck and also emotionally unavailable as fuck. I'm unmoved by your loneliness. You being lonely does not mean you're ready. I'm going to pause for a second. You being lonely does not mean you're emotionally available. In fact, it's really, really harmful when an emotionally unavailable lonely person tries to date. Because now they're wondering why they're looking at the thing that they want in the face and they still feel empty on the inside. And a lot of you, when you're in that position, don't have the language, the resources, or the perspective to understand that you conflated loneliness with availability. And you start telling yourself, oh, I thought I was miserable when I was alone, but I'm also miserable in somebody else's company. So maybe I'm just going to be miserable forever. Instead of saying, oh, I wasn't ready yet for the thing I asked for. And maybe that loneliness has something to teach me. So yes, it is human to be lonely. It is human to desire connection. It is human to want intimacy. But it takes work to be worthy of honoring any of that. And some of you think just because you're lonely that you deserve a relationship, and then wonder why when you get a relationship, it's bullshit. How would you describe emotional unavailability in your words? Emotional unavailability is to come from a place of lack. It's to operate from a place of fear. It's to treat every opportunity as if it's your last one because you don't believe in the abundance of life. It's to be impatient. It's to be more stuck on the optics of love than the journey of figuring out if you're in love. I just described most of the internet. A lot of people spend a lot of time talking about relationships that they're not even available for. And then spend the rest of the time complaining about what happened as a result of them being unavailable. If somebody who is emotionally available is not operating from lack, they're operating from the abundance of curiosity, right? Hey, I wonder if we're a good fit. Let's see. Not, oh man, I got me one. I pray he doesn't make me look stupid. If you're treating every romantic interaction as if this doesn't work, you might not ever get another chance, that is not being emotionally available. That is a trauma response. Someone said, so right, I learned that being alone is different from being lonely. And people think that I am lonely because I'm alone, and that's wrong. Guys, I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm single, and I'm less lonely than a lot of my friends in relationships. In fact, there's nothing lonelier in the world than being in the wrong relationship. I'm New Year. Do you save these lives? I would love to rewatch. Thank you. Yeah, I'll save it, love. I save them when people ask. And also too, this is me not saying I don't believe in love. I'm a hopeful romantic. I'm not hopeless. I'm a hopeful romantic. I love love. You know what I love more than love? I love people. Because a lot of you are in love with love, but you don't like people. Right? So I actually like humans more than I like the concept of love. I like getting to know people. I like to see their good days, their bad days. I like holding space for folks. I like learning people. I don't walk into relationships saying, oh, if I don't, get with this one, I might not get another chance for another 10 years. I say, hey, I wonder if this one makes sense for me. And when it doesn't, I disengage. And when it does, I lean in. Somebody said, you've read 2 of my comments. Thank you. No problem, love. Somebody said, drag me. You've been exposed. Here's the thing that's beautiful about someone calling out a subconscious limited belief that you're harboring, now that I've called it out, you don't have the luxury of pretending you don't know. And now that you know, there's a responsibility that comes with knowing. A lot of times we play confused and pretend not to know things that we know because we know that once we admit we know them, there's a responsibility that comes with that, right? There's a lot of emotional laziness that is pretending to be confusion. Most times when I ask somebody a question and they say, I don't know, that's not the truth. In fact, being confused tends to be a really clever way to kind of skirt around the responsibility. So for anybody in here who's heard something that they can relate to, now that you know, what are you going to do about it? Also, too, I have to be honest, because this is the first year of my adult life where I haven't been in a relationship or a situationship. This has never happened. And for those of you who know me, at my big age, I've never had a single year up until this year of my adult life where I did not have an asterisk next to somebody, right? A lot of times when people go on dates and somebody says, you know, you single, right? And they be like, yeah, I'm single, but they're single with an asterisk. They're single with an ex that they're hoping they'll get back. They're single with a crush. They're single with a past trauma from a disappointment that they're still harboring, right? This is the first year of my life where I am single without an asterisk. And the beauty of that is anybody that I meet gets a fresh, clean slate. They're not paying for past mistakes. They're not dealing with the shell of who I was before I was disappointed. I'm not projecting my traumas or insecurities on them. They get to just meet the kind of me that my friends get to meet. And one of the things that I saw in the live that I was just in earlier was we were talking about relationships, and I said, like, people need to remember how to stay friends when you're dating. So for those of you who are about to go into cuffing season really enthusiastically, if you're dating someone, ask yourself, would I consider them a friend? Because one of the things I have learned that I'm never going to unlearn is that the next person I'm in a relationship with that's romantic has to be my friend. And I know that's such a cliche thing to say. We always say, y'all got to be friends first. A lot of y'all meet somebody, have sex with them, fall for them, get sprung on them, and then try to force them to be your friend after the fact. That is intellectually dishonest. I once heard a long time ago, you should never marry somebody that you wouldn't feel safe divorcing. And I was confused when I first heard that until she explained to me, if you think someone would treat you like shit when you divorce them, that means they're only safe to you when you are of service to them or they can get something from you. You want someone who you trust so much that you know that even if the relationship didn't work out, they would still treat you right, just based on their integrity alone. If your ability to treat me nice is contingent on me giving you what you want, I'm not all the way safe with you. And guess what, guys? You're all hearing this thinking about, are you safe with others? I want you to hear me saying that and ask yourself, do you make others safe? Because I promise you, there's at least a few of you in here who are not safe. It doesn't mean you're bad people. So please don't waste your time telling me you're a good person, right? Congratulations, you're not Hitler. What does that mean? Just because you're not Stalin, just because you're not Osama bin Laden doesn't mean that. And that's, by the way, can we stop doing that? Acting like saying you're a good person absolves you of the messiness of our shared humanity. Good people do fucked up shit every single day. You being a good person is completely irrelevant. When someone's telling me how someone has abused them, dishonored them, or disrespected them, I hate when they say, but he's a good person, she's a good person. Completely fucking irrelevant. Most of us are not evil masterminds. And what does that mean? Somebody said 6 days ago, a friend and I were making wishes on 11/11, and I literally wished for the ability to be emotionally available for love. And I have started the process while on this vacay. Love, please, if you can afford it, no pressure, consider taking my class, the ots24.eventbrite.com link at the bottom, because emotional availability, and I say this with all due respect, is not something you pray on. It's a practice. It's a lot less magical than just prayer alone. It is, I do believe in praying though. So the prayer was a great start, but the prayer alone is not going to cut it. It's a skill set. Emotional availability is a skill set that you have to learn because you have to deprogram yourself from every barrier between you and being available. And not everybody most people don't have that skill on their own, right? Because first you have to be able to recalibrate and ask yourself, what outdated stories are you telling yourself? In fact, you know what? It's on my spirit. I'm going to give some free game about how to become more emotionally available, even for those of you who are not going to take the class. Although I will tell you, this live is not going to replace the class, but I love giving out freebies. The first step, if you're trying to be emotionally available, is to keep it a buck. Admit, what are you scared of? What is your biggest emotional fear? For many people, it's the fear of dying alone. That is not my fear. People will not leave me alone. I am not scared of dying alone. I've been calling myself a loner my entire life, and I'm going to stop saying that because I'm not, right? So for a lot of people, their biggest fear is dying alone. For me, my biggest fear is dying mediocre. Mediocrity scares the shit out of me. If you look at my friends, I don't have any mediocre friends. I don't even have any friends who are not talented, right? I am frightened shitless of mediocrity. So the first thing you have to do is admit, what are you scared of? What is your deepest, darkest, ugliest fear? Somebody says, I want to book a call with you. If you want to, love, there's a link in my bio for bookings, for one-on-ones, right? But only book them if you want to hear the truth. I don't pull punches. I'm compassionate, but I don't enable. So what am I scared of, right? Once you're honest about what you're really, really scared of, and I'm going to be honest with you, most people, when they ask us what they're scared of, they usually give a second or third tier. The core wound sometimes takes a professional to help you get to the crux of it. But start chipping away. What am I scared of, right? Once you admit what you're scared of, then you have to be honest about where did you learn that from? Because babies are not born fearful. Babies are born brave and inquisitive. And in fact, most of what I teach people is how to get back to that child inside of them before it was hurt, before it was shamed, before it was told to shut up. So what are you scared of and where did you learn it from? Because trauma, we're not born with trauma. We inherit trauma. We learn trauma. We're taught trauma. We're not born with that, right? So please, guys, recognize that in this cuffing season that you are in, please do not get cuffed with anybody unless you are emotionally available. Because what happens every cuffing season, without fail, a bunch of emotionally unavailable people who think that being lonely means they're available and not recognizing that you can be emotionally unavailable and still be lonely, rush into relationships so they can not have to sit with themselves during the winter. So they don't have to sit with their insecurities and their loneliness and their discomfort during the winter. And they rush into these relationships with people. They ignore red flags. They ignore unresolved trauma. They get cuffed up. And what happens by the spring? When the sun starts shining and there's more day parties and there's more options and distractions, they break up, right? I don't believe in cuffing season only because I don't think love is only a season. If you really, really want to circumvent the whole cuffing season narrative, tell yourself, would I, right now, in this very second, be willing to be vulnerable, transparent, and scared in the way that real love will bake me? Because real love will rock you guys, okay? I've been engaged twice. The joke that I always say is third time's the charm. The third time I'm engaged, I promise I will get married. I've talked to my mother, my God, my clergyman. I promise third time I'm engaged, I'm gonna get married, right? But the reason why the first two engagements didn't work out is, number one, I was too young. And number two, I was only doing it because society tells you, oh my God, if you get chosen as a woman, it's a big deal. So getting chosen once is a big deal. Oh my God, you got chose twice, you better get married. And I was getting married from a place of fear and a desire to have optics that look good to the community. But I wasn't happy in those relationships. I didn't even know who the fuck I was yet. I was young, right? The marriages that last are when the couple feels like friends. I can always tell which of my friends are in a relationship that have a chance of winning, and it's when they argue and laugh like friends. If there's anybody in here who's married or who's in a long-term relationship, you can co-sign or give your opinion. Every relationship that I've ever seen take the test of time, it's not because they were rich. It's not because they were attractive. It wasn't even because they were sexy. It was because they knew how to be friends. Because guess what, guys? Sometimes when your wife or your husband gets on your fucking nerves, you need to talk to your homie. Like, hey, you're getting on my nerves right now as a partner. Can we talk as friends? And the thing that a lot of people don't have the bandwidth for is intimacy, because intimacy requires risk. A lot of times when I am doing my workshops, people say, Blue, thank you so much for creating a safe space. And while I recognize and wholeheartedly appreciate that compliment, I don't create safe spaces. I create safer spaces. The reason I say that is there's nothing safe about love. Love requires risk. Intimacy requires risk. You cannot be risk adverse and say that you want a wholehearted, thriving, long-term relationship. It just doesn't work like that. Someone says, I agree. However, I think my ex-wife and I are great co-parents because we had a base in friendship for years prior to dating. Exactly. And the beautiful thing about that is even when your compatibility has expired, the friendship will still keep you respectful of each other. Love is a brick, like is the mortar. You know what's so funny? Like is a high priority. I actually think for me, actually, I'm going to pause for a second and read the comments. I don't want to ignore these comments. You don't know where love will take you, and when illness hits, it's the friendship that holds you down. Oh, yeah. My mom right now is sick. A lot of you already know this already. My stepdad and her were friends way before she got sick. She has been cranky as hell because we all know that cranky, old, scared people, when you're old and scared, especially those from a certain generation, they were not taught to be vulnerable, right? And there's been plenty of studies that have shown that most older people and most people of color, particularly Black women, when we're scared, we get mean and irritable because we don't know how to be vulnerable, so we use anger instead, right? So my mother is scared right now, and she's being cranky and bitchy and getting on everybody's nerves. And the reason why my stepdad is not falling to pieces is because his friend is getting on his nerves, and he knows how to be her friend. Because they were friends for so long. He's not glamored by this idea of her being his partner. He's like, my friend is going through a rough patch, and she's showing her ass. I hope she gets better. I'm literally in a home right now watching this theory play out in real life. So, again, if you are emotionally unavailable during this cold season of hot cocoa and Instagram picture photo shoots from happy couples, and I know Valentine's Day is coming up and that triggers a lot of you, during this season, I need you to fall in love with yourself and your process before you try to fall in love with somebody else. And if you meet somebody else, please recognize that risk is inevitable. If you are not willing to risk getting hurt, you cannot risk falling in love. Hurt people. I work in critical care and see this a lot. People get really mean, but you have to like them enough to show them grace in the process. Show them grace and boundaries, though. I show grace and boundaries. I told my mother that she needed to watch her mouth a couple of days ago, and I don't regret it. You know why? I think the thing is, all hurt people in that whole conversation, that's great. But if we keep on giving people excuses to be assholes because they're hurt, then no one would be held accountable because all hurt people are the ones who are hurting people. Like, nobody who's well is malicious, right? And so accountability cannot leave the room. I believe in compassion and accountability. So yes, I will show you grace within reason because you're hurt. But I'm also not going to let you walk all over me and treat me like hell. All right? I'm not doing let me outgrace you. No. If my own mother can't get away with it, I promise you none of you can. I believe in compassion and accountability, which means you can be hurt and I can still have boundaries. The phrase that I always use is, I refuse to set myself on fire to keep other people warm. I refuse to set myself on fire to keep other people warm. Meaning, I want the best for you, but it can't be to my detriment. A lot of you are caregivers in relationships, in your families, in your dynamics at work to your own detriment. I promise you there's nobody on this earth, not even the person who birthed me, who's going to get me to set myself on fire. But my mother didn't like that speech because I told her this a couple of days ago and she's mad at me right now. I'm going to go visit her at the hospital before I go to LA tomorrow. And guess what? She can stay mad. I'm not changing my mind on this. You know why? I've literally watched people die from putting themselves last. I've watched people who spent their entire lives taking care of everybody around them, their entire lives complaining about, I have a big heart, I love too much, I give too much, X, Y, and Z, and die as a result of not taking care of themselves. I'm not going to let any of y'all shorten my lifespan. I am trying to make it to 100, okay? Somebody said, did you say it in French? I sure did. I cussed her out in French. Is she okay? Yeah, she's okay. Her ego's a little bit bruised, but she's physically okay. I'm going to always keep my mother alive because I love her. I'm not going to let her turn me into her, though. A lot of people, especially West Indian, Caribbean immigrants, people of color, We're taught that when somebody's going through something, you have to let yourself turn into a haggard mess to take care of them. We're not doing that anymore. That's generational trauma. That is a curse that is ending here. I'm going to take care of my family while still taking care of myself. I left the hospital, got my hair did. Then I got a pedicure. Then I went to the pho place and got some lunch, and then I went back to the hospital. I'm not going to fall to pieces taking care of folks. And I think a lot of people, especially those of you who've gone a long time without love, think that love doesn't mean setting yourself on fire. Love equals sacrifice. Love equals sacrifice with boundaries and within reason. I'm going to sacrifice the things that are optional. I'm going to sacrifice the things that are not detrimental long term. I am not going to sacrifice the things that are keeping me sane. I'm not going to sacrifice my health. I'm not going to sacrifice my sanity. I think the problem with these platitudes and these pleasantries and these mantras that we have about love is they are toxic while presenting as virtuous. And I've said this before, please don't say that the reason you're single is because you love too much or that your heart's too big. That is so fucking conceited. Who are you to say that? Your heart's bigger than everybody on the planet? Get over yourself. Your issue is you lack boundaries. You can have the biggest heart in the world. You can be as generous as hell. As long as you have boundaries, there's no such thing as too much. A lot of you are pretending that you're these unicorns with big hearts and you're a victim and the whole world just can't love like you. Get over yourself. Okay? Get over yourself. You're a coward who is not telling the truth about your boundaries. You are lying about what you want. You're scared to admit what you need. And then you're blaming the rest of us for it while giving yourself a compliment. Get over yourself. Instead of lying and saying conceited shit like, my heart's too big, say, I need to stop being so scared of telling the truth about my needs. I need to stop being so dishonest about my boundaries. I need to have the courage to be honest about what I want and stop people pleasing and pandering for people to like me. Because guess what, guys? When you're pandering for people to like you, when you're people pleasing, that's not your heart, that's your ego. The heart doesn't people please. The ego does. A lot of you think your heart's too big when the problem is your ego's too big. And your courage is too small. That's why I teach these classes. I hope that was helpful. It is now struck midnight in the East Coast. I have a flight tomorrow and I want to check on my mom. And see if she's over her little ego tantrum with me. I'm setting boundaries with my own mother, guys. So I need you to know that I'm practicing what I preach at all times, all right? So my mother had an ego tantrum because I set a boundary with her. I gave her the day to sulk. And tomorrow I'm going to go check on her at rehab, the physical rehab facility she's at. And I'm going to shower her with kisses all over her face. I'm going to tell her I love her while she pretends to be a Grinch. I'm going to bring her fresh strawberries because they're her favorite fruit. I'm going to be love. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to be love while she's having her ego tantrum. And then I'm going to get on a plane back to LA and continue living my beautiful life that I get to keep while taking care of her. Somebody said, are you 6 feet distance when you told her? You're hilarious. I know. Blue, in your opinion, why are there many educated, stunning black women single? I know the blanket answer is the desirability politics. But what's your take? I think the reason is because our community has been systemically ripped apart. And then now social media is commodifying fake gender wars and creating spaces where we all feel lonely while we're all in the same room, on the same Wi-Fi, looking at the same videos. Capitalism. The answer is capitalism. People go every day on social media to talk about gender wars, yet in real life I see tons of happy couples. The internet is real. The internet is an exaggerated facsimile of real life. And I know that's rich coming from somebody whose business is on the internet, but the thing that people say to me when they meet me in real life, and this is always the number one thing people say, oh my God, you talk like this in real life. People are always shocked when they realize that this is not a persona. If any of my friends are in here, they'll tell you, this is not a persona. I talk like this all the time. What does it say about y'all that me being the same person in real life that I am online shocks you? What does that say about the norm? What does that say about your expectations? That's you subconsciously admitting that you know that the internet is fake. And so the idea that I could be the same person on and off, that's why I get that comment so much. Wait, you really talk like this? You really act like this? I thought this was for the internet. No. I don't code switch for the internet. So the reason why so many of us, not just black women, are single is because we're watching a tube. We're watching the Truman Show and conflating it for real life. And when somebody in real life tries to be intimate with us, all that programming, all those headlines, all those Kevin Samuel videos, all those male podcasters, all those angry black women podcasters too. Sisters, some of us are toxic as well. We take all those talking points and we're so inundated with all those talking points, we forget to connect with the person who's right in front of us. That's me. For real, was just saying the same thing about, filters. Exactly, guys. Real life is amazing and it's messy. You can't curate real life. You don't get to watch 100 different takes of real life and pick the one that looks the best to post it. Real life is in real time. And a lot of you are being handicapped by social media and optics. Now, for those of people like me who are trying to come on here to help people, social media has beautiful things that happen to it. But what did I mention earlier when I was talking about cuffing season? If you're paying attention, you're going to see that when I was talking about cuffing season, the first thing I mentioned was the matching pajamas on the gram, right? The ability to flex with the roses on Valentine's Day. A lot of you wouldn't be depressed about being single on Valentine's Day if you weren't watching everybody else's stories. Be honest. It'd be a regular Wednesday. But because you watched everybody else get their hair done and you're watching Ari and Jada Wada and your favorite baddies get Rolls Royces, now you feel like you're lacking. Right? Because you only bought one pair of pajamas instead of a set for a photo shoot, now you feel like you're lacking. The perception of lack that is being shoved in our throats, that is why I say capitalism is behind this. Because guess what? All marketing, because my first major before I decided to be a writer, my first major was marketing. You know why I quit? Because I realized that marketing is often very evil. And the number one tenet of marketing is sell them lack so they can buy our product. So social media has a financial incentive to sell you lack. Because if you feel like you're lacking, now you're going to buy that new weight loss drug. Now you're going to buy that new skincare program. Now you're going to buy that waist snatcher. Now you're going to buy that new shirt. Right? You're going to buy something to use as a salve for the loneliness that they created inside of you. So yeah, the answer is capitalism. I think all of us are lonely in some degree because capitalism has an incentive to make us feel like we're lacking. Because guess who makes the worst consumer? Someone who is whole. Whole people don't need to buy TikTok trends. Whole people are not competing with their feeds. Whole people don't care how many pairs of pajamas they buy. They say, I had a great day. I have a beautiful life. I'm grateful. There's no sales in that. So guys, I think I've said enough. This is supposed to be a quick live. It was a little longer than I expected. I hope that those of you who were harboring loneliness that's been manufactured by capitalism, those of you who were wishing to be cuffed despite not having any way to put the cuffs, those of you who were being ungrateful and not counting your blessings because you were too busy looking at somebody else's highlight reel, I hope this was a gentle reminder to be for real. Okay? Somebody said, give Mama Blue a hug. I'm going to always hug her. I love my mom. I love her so much. She and failure are my greatest teachers. Somebody said, Blue, thank you for being you. You're like chicken soup for the soul. Oh, I appreciate that. I'm happy you guys came in. I am going to save this. But I really do have to go though, because even though I'm a West Coast girl, this East Coast time is whooping my ass. I'm about to go to bed. I hope this was valuable. I only came on here to say hi and tell you that I'm out of live jail. I'm considering going live weekly, like doing like a weekly live. I'm still going to think on that. But I'll get back to you guys with an update. And also for those of you who are new here and who are like, Blue, I didn't know you did workshops. I didn't know you do bookings. I didn't know you do one-on-one consultations. Please check out the link in my bio. Everything is in my bio. So if you want to be nosy and be snooping around about what I offer, just go there. Because honestly, I hate shouting out what I do for work. I know. I kind of am like a word of mouth kind of person, but I've been told that I'm, blocking a blessing by not being more vocal. So if you guys see me being more vocal about my offerings, I know I'm not trying to be obnoxious. It's just a blind spot that I'm trying to work through in real time with you guys. All right. And and a podcast. Thank you, love. I forgot to mention that. See, I'm so bad at marketing. This is why I did not continue with marketing because I just like to do things organically. Also, guys, I want you to remember that there's 2 months left in this year. There's 60 days left in this year. A lot can be done. Yes, guys, humanize. I love how you guys are shouting at my podcast for me in the comments because I'm doing such a poor job of hawking my hustles. There's 2 months left in 2023. And 2 months is a lot of time for progress and improvement, right? And progress does not mean the reaction. Progress means the effort. If you are being consistent with the things that you want, if you are stepping out of your comfort zones, if you're checking things off your list that scare you, the way that other people react is icing. You are the fucking cake. Okay? So this is not, oh, I hope for progress. You don't have to hope for shit. Make it happen. You have 2 full months to make this year redeemable. That is a lot of time, guys. A lot can happen in 2 months, okay? And also, even slow progress is progress. Get away from the perception of quickness and slowness. Time is an illusion. Not to get on my whole Buddhist shit, but time is an illusion. So 2 months for us in our human brains is 8 weeks. You could do a lot in 8 weeks, guys. So stop saying 2023 sucked. I've never once said 2023 sucks. I keep on saying 2023 tried to take me out, because it did. It really fucking did. 2023 tried to take me out, but this year hasn't sucked. I would never say this year sucked. This year has sharpened me into a person that I am completely enamored and fascinated by. Sometimes it's the hardest years that are the best for your development. So rather than complaining about 2023, use the next 2 months to make sure that you end on a strong note. I just felt like somebody who just came in here needed to hear that, so I had to get it out. All right, I love y'all to pieces. Yes, I will save this. Be good to yourselves. All right, bye, guys.